What's good, fam? Agent O here with another action figure review, and today I have the Tamashii web exclusive Deadshot from SH Figuarts. The Suicide Squad DCEU movie version. I'm not even gonna talk about the box. It is what it is. It's kind of ugly. I'm just gonna get this bad boy open and get to the review. And here we have Deadshot. Right off the bat, I mean, this looks pretty movie accurate. I don't even want to. I just want to jump right in because I have some things I need to say about this figure that need saying. So, first off, I do want to mention that this face sculpt is actually really friggin' good. I thought it looked close enough to Will Smith's likeness from the production photos, but having it in hand, it really looks like Will Smith. I can't see anybody having complaints about the likeness to the of his face. This just looks really good. They didn't do these. I don't think they did the stipple technique, because usually that stippling technique is usually they're using the dark dots on a lighter colored face, and since Will Smith is black, I don't think that's gonna work as well on this figure, so it's more painted, at least from what I could tell just looking at it from my naked eye. Maybe when I look at the pictures a bit closer, it'll prove me wrong, but I was really impressed. I mean, they even got his ears. They're not as out there as they are in real life, but they're like, it's like tastefully exaggerated, I guess you could say. Because his ears stick out like a motherfucker, but it looks really damn good. No complaints. I love the beard. I didn't like the beard in the production photos. I thought it didn't look as good, but man, yeah, that's Will Smith, man. As far as the rest of the figure and the detail, it looks movie accurate. He's got all the fucking clips and magazines. He's even got the guns in the back. He's got the side piece. He's got the forearm guns. You can see on his arms. I mean, every inch of this figure has detail. There's even little bits of tread on the foot. It's well done. It's a well done, well sculpted figure. The nice details, folds in the pants, in his combat pants. I dig the fact that they had the straps for the knee pads, but they're not connected, but they're there to kind of give off that essence of that the knee pads are connected. I have no complaints sculpt wise with this figure. Everything looks good. I mean, he looks like how he appeared in the film. Even got the little Deadshot logo, the bullseye logo on his chest. Just mad attention to detail. There's nothing else really I could say. They broke up, the color scheme works quite nicely. Nothing's overly shiny or too vibrant. There is texture on his arms, on the brighter red parts of his costume. Everywhere there's brighter red, there's a mesh-like texture. It's really small and it's kind of subtle, but it works really, really well. I have no complaints whatsoever. None, just absolutely none. I'm impressed at how nice this figure looks overall. As far as all the gear that's on him, none of it really gets in the way except for the magazines for his rifle. That does kind of get away of the articulation, but it's on a peg. It's on a circular peg, and what I usually do is, if I'm bending the leg, I'll usually take the magazines out and I'll just flip it upside down, and then I can bend the leg and whoops and get the articulation I need. But yeah, most all of this stuff is like, all this is on like a ball joint. These are on a ball joint. These magazines for the guns in his back are fixed. These don't move. This side arm, his side arm doesn't move. The knife on his boot does. It's just on a peg. Just pegs in and out really, really easy. Just in case you accidentally flick it off, it'll go back on really nice and easy. The guns on his back and the back holsters, those don't move either. You know, it's, other than that, you know, I have no problems with, you know, other than the magazines on the left leg, which that's not really a problem once because it's easy to fix while you're posing. But I want to move on to the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, and so's the neck. The neck is also on a ball joint, so you get lots of range of motion. You know, you can look at you all sideways if you need to. Head goes back about that far. The collar gets in the way, otherwise it could probably go back even farther. He looks down pretty well, pretty nicely. The arms are on a ball swivel at the shoulder. They rotate all the way around if you need to. It's got a bicep swivel, which I always love the bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows, so you can get that much bend. Hands on a ball peg swivel, so you know you can bend the wrist down. So if you need to have him firing his wrist guns, it'll look proper. And it's just and the hand's just on a ball peg. The shoulders also are on a butterfly joint, and you can see the hinge on the inside there for the butterfly joint, and they come out pretty decent, pretty far. I mean, this is a whole lot of extension. It almost looks freaky from the back, but you know, if you pose it right, it's not going to look odd at all. But you know, it's just, you can get that much range of motion, so when he's holding his rifle, you can get all the proper rifle holding poses that you need, so he looks like a professional. The torso, this is, I had a feeling this was going to be an issue when I saw the production photos and I saw the poses he was in. This is by far my least favorite thing about this figure. This armor plate right here, it gets in the way, and in the instructions it tells you that it is articulated. It swivels on its own back and forth. It's on like a ball peg, and so you know, even though he's got a diaphragm joint, he can kind of go back. He doesn't go back all that far because of all the sculpting and stuff in the lower back, and he can't go forward either because this gets in the way. He can go side to side. He tilts side to side pretty well. Like that's really great articulation. You can't really turn him too much. He doesn't really rotate a whole lot because once again this gets in the way. I really wish they would have found a workaround for this. This is giving me nightmares of the MCU Thor figure all over again. This does pop out. I popped it out, and it's on a ball peg. I'm not going to do it again because it's like on a double ball joint, and I don't want to pop it out again because it's kind of a bitch to get it back in because the ball joint moves around in the hole it's in. So I'm leaving it on there, but once you get it off, he bends forward pretty far. I just won't do it for the sake of this review because, like I said, it's a pain to get it back in, and this is just really, really disappointing. Really fucking disappointing because I want to like this figure. It's not often that Figuarts does people of color, mainly black people, when they do these action figures. So if they do a black person, I want to see them done well, and I hate to see that this figure's lacking in in an area that I think is really important for articulation purposes. But moving on, he has in his hips, they're on ball joints. He has the swivel action where the legs swivel down to increase his range of motion. And once again, because this gets in the way, you can't get as much extension as you would like. If you finagle it and play with it, you can get the gun around the magazines. And like I said, if you pull this down and just rotate it around, you can get some more range of motion. So you can get a split about that much if you play around with it enough. But he's not really he's a fighter, but he's not like a martial artist fighter. So he doesn't really need to kick that much. He's going to be mostly shooting his guns. So I can forgive the lack of kicking articulation, but it is there if you play around with it. I'm not giving it a pass, but it's workable. I'll give it that. His knees are double jointed, so you get that much bend. Pretty good, pretty decent bend. His ankles, you can get ankle rotation that way. You get the ankle rockage, and they go forward pretty good, but they don't go back too far because the back of the boot kind of gets in the way. But he also has the toe point, of course. Like I said, this is it's got its issues in the articulation department, and that's too bad because I really, like I said, I really want to like this figure. And he is kind of lacking in the accessories as well. So I'm going to move the figure out of the way, and we're going to get to the accessories. He does come with his masked head. And well, I'll show you the head first. Head looks really good. You can see the texture of the material quite nicely in the sculpt. The breathing holes, his ocular gadget, and you can see his eye in underneath it. It actually looks like the mask is over his head, the way they sculpted it. And I mean, it looks good. I think it looks better in this form than it did in the film. For some reason, I just didn't like the mask in the film. I kind of wish they had went with. I know it sounds cheesy and cliche, but I kind of wish they had went with something more of like a mask with a ballistic face mask in the front or something, kind of molded in a way that kind of looks a bit more like the comic. I know that sounds cliche and generic, but I do like that look. But like I said, this looks good, and the paint apps that they have applied, there's no slop whatsoever. There's some red in this ocular scope piece in the left eye. That looks pretty good. No complaints. And in order to switch the heads, you just pop his head off, real simple like. Put that off to the side. Pop the second head on, and he makes the figure looks even cooler with his masked head on. Overall, I mean, visually this figure's on point. Articulation wise, it's kind of lacking in one of the major areas. So anyway, that's one of the accessories. He comes with his rifle. I don't know if this is an AR-15 or whatever. I don't know. It's got the ACOG scope on it. I'm not a gun guy, but they did get a lot of the details of the gun really nicely. Like you can see the Deadshot logo, the bullseye logo. It's actually molded in there, etched in there, in the mold. The hand grips, and you've got the rack where you can fit other attachments on there, especially with the hand grip there. No slop whatsoever. I mean, it's only like 3 colors: the red, black, and gold. Even the way they put the little they sculpted the little handle for the collapsible, for the stock. You know how you can adjust it when you pull on the handle and pull it out and in and all that. The ACOG scope is there, and that looks pretty good. I have no problems with this gun. They got it off. They got the damn thing off. It looks pretty nice. But that's the only gun he comes with, which is a downer. I kind of wish these handguns could come out of the holsters. They're sculpted in, and you can't do anything. They're just there for as a visual. You know, that you can't pull them out and put them in his hands or anything, which I kind of wish he had, because he did use handguns in the movie. So, you know, I know he has his rifle, but he has his rifle and his wrist guns, but I really would have liked a couple of handguns to go along with the figure when it comes to accessories. As for hands, he has he has two open splayed hands. He has the two open splayed hands, and they're pretty, like, they lay flat on the ground pretty well, quite nicely. No, he has those, and then he has the hand that holds the gun at the trigger. You just slide it in, but it's really loose. See, it fell out. It was loose like that. I don't know if it's gonna be like that for everybody, or if it's just mine and it's a QC thing. But yeah, it won't even stay in now. Unless I'm putting it in wrong. Nope, I'm not putting it in wrong. There we go. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of floats in there. And that's too bad. I kind of wish they would have had I wish it had more of a snug fit. I guess if you stick the finger in there, I guess that's how you get it in there. I wasn't putting the finger in the trigger hole, but if you do that, then it stays in a lot better. So there you go. There's your tip, guys. Put the finger in the hole. And then he has the other special holding hand to hold the grip. And I mean, that floats in there, but that's okay because it stays. And I kind of want it to float because when you're adjusting the figure and when you're adjusting the gun in the different positions, I kind of want it to be loose. It's where he's holding the gun in the trigger. That's where I need it to hold fit. And I didn't do this before when I was taking pictures and stuff. I didn't put the finger through the hole. But you know, once you get it in there, it looks good, and you know, it does everything it needs to do. There's enough range of motion that you can get all the nice gun poses that you need, so he looks proper. But I mean, that's it for accessories. Like this doesn't, the lack of accessories, it doesn't warrant this figure to be a Tamashii web exclusive. I need something more for me to want to spend that money, you know, to get a web exclusive. Granted, this figure wasn't horribly expensive, but for web exclusive, you should be getting extra stuff to warrant the price. You know, I think they only made this figure an exclusive because, personally, and this is just me speculating, this is me theorizing, but I think Figuarts, Bandai, whoever you want to call them, I think they are scared, or they are they don't trust, or they don't have much faith when they sell action figures of characters that are people of color, mainly black. You know, we've only had the Michael Jackson figure, and that sold pretty well, but that's Michael Jackson, so you know, of course that's going to sell. Then we also had the one character from Tiger and Bunny, and I think that took a while before it finally sold out. Mace Windu, I can still find that in the stores, and that's Sam Jackson. I'm surprised that didn't sell out. I haven't even gotten one for myself yet. I'm going to. I just keep putting it off because other stuff comes out that I want to get, and I keep putting it off on my list. But I'm eventually going to get a Mace Windu, Sam Jackson Figuarts toy because it looks good. It looks like Sam Jackson, and I really want it. I just keep putting it off. And then we have this character. We have, you know, Deadshot. We have Will Smith. He's the headliner of the movie. He's the main character of the movie. The movie began and ended with his character, and so it boggles my mind that they made him a web exclusive, even though he was the main character of the Suicide Squad movie. And say what you want about the movie, I know it's not that great. I thought Will Smith's performance was one of the best things about the movie. His character was the most fleshed out of all of them in the film. This should have been a mass release figure, but it wasn't, because I don't think they had faith in how well this was going to sell. And I wonder if they're trying to recoup some of the money that they spent on getting the rights to his likeness, because I'm willing to bet that doesn't come cheap, getting Will Smith's likeness for these toys. That's my other speculating reason that this became a web exclusive. They're trying to recoup their money on his likeness. But they make that mistake, and then now they probably think that all black characters don't sell. But you just had the Tony Stark figure come out, and that's still available online in many an online store, and the price on that didn't go up on the aftermarket because you can find it everywhere. I found it on many sites. I haven't bought that, and I don't really plan on it because I'm not that huge of a Tony Stark fan, RDJ fan. I like RDJ and everything, but I'm not big enough of a fan to have to get the action figure of RDJ or Tony Stark outside of the suit. Not that big of a fan. And I bet they thought that figure was going to sell like gangbusters, and it did. It kind of didn't. It wasn't a flop, but it wasn't a loss either. But I bet you they'll do another character. They'll do another Caucasian character before they do another black one, which is sad. The Black Panther figure did sell pretty well, I think, because that figure skyrocketed on the aftermarket. But you don't see his face. You don't see T'Challa's face on that figure at all. It didn't come with an extra head, so to show Chadwick Boseman's likeness. And the War Machine figure, once again, figure that didn't have the face, didn't have a head sculpt for the face or anything, or open helmet. So and the last one sold pretty well to the point where that figure skyrocketed in the aftermarket price. So I mean, some black characters I guess sell as long as you can't see that they're black. I don't know, but it's sad, and I hope that trend changes, because I'm still waiting on a Falcon figure, MCU Falcon figure. We need it. Figuarts needs to get on it, because I'm just not feeling the Hasbro version. So Figuarts, that's the next thing you need to do. You need to do a Figuarts Falcon figure. Get on that shit. But that's all I got for this figure. I like it, but it's not a web exclusive. It's not web exclusive material. It's not the greatest figure because of the torso area. I mean, other people might forgive the lack of torso articulation. I just can't, especially since Figuarts is all about the posability and everything. So, I don't know. I got nothing else to say. I can't really recommend you buy this figure because of that. If you're a fan of the movie and you're a fan of the character and you like it, then I guess get it, because it is, barring the torso, everything else kind of checks out, and barring the torso and the lack of accessories, everything else kind of checks out. So this is like a barely solid figure because of that. I mean, a couple pistols would have went a long way to making this toy awesome, and a couple pistols and some pistol holding hands. Then I would have been satisfied with the accessories. So I don't know. That's gonna do it. I really don't have much else to talk about with this figure. I'm kind of disappointed overall, even though I like what I see visually. I'm still disappointed. So that's gonna do it. Until the next review, I'm Agent O, and I'm out. Peace.